Welcome to this learning video on emergencies, rescue and first aid procedures by Power Sector Skill Council, produced in collaboration with SEMCA. Do you know what an emergency is? An emergency is an unexpected and difficult or dangerous situation, especially an accident, which happens suddenly and which requires quick action to deal with it. Example: an electrical shock is received when electrical current passes through the body. If a part of your body completes an electrical circuit, that is, touching a live wire and an electrical ground, or touching a live wire and another wire at a different voltage, then you will get an electrical shock. Effect of current on human body. Current 0.5 milliampere. Effect on human body. Perceptual feeling 5 to 10 milliampere. Muscle contraction 10 to 15 milliampere. More painful feeling 15 to 20 milliampere. Respiratory failure 20 to 30 milliampere. Ventricular fibrillation. Severity of shock depends on path of current through the body, amount of current flowing through the body, ampere, duration of the shocking current through the body. Let us now discuss a step-by-step procedure to deal with electrical emergencies. If you find yourself involved in an electrical emergency on site, it's key that you know what to do and what not to do. We will examine the steps you should follow and the importance of occupational health and safety (OHS) in an electrotechnology industry. What should you do in an electrical emergency? Step 1. Do not touch someone receiving an electric shock. If one of your colleagues receives a serious electric shock, your first reaction will likely to be to go to their aid. But please stop and think. The human body is an excellent conductor of electricity. This means that the charge that just passed through your co-worker could easily move into you if you make contact with him or her. Given that, electricity has the capacity to kill or seriously injure, limiting the number of people exposed to the shock should be your number one priority. Additionally, check if there is water spilled on the site. Water conducts electricity, so until the power is turned off, take precautions when moving around the area. Step 2. Turn off the power. If it's safe to do so without putting yourself in danger, turn off the power. This makes the emergency site much safer to move around and prevents further damage before the ambulance arrives. In situations where you can't turn the power off safely, try to separate the victim from the electricity source using a dry, non-conductive item such as a wooden broomstick, rubber gumboots and hand gloves. You may use a rescue crook from a low-voltage rescue kit if one is readily available. Step 3. Call emergency services. Ideally, you will have someone with you so that the steps 2 and 3 can happen at the same time. However, if you are alone, it's important that you call emergency services as soon as possible. Victims of serious electric shocks will need treatment from medical professionals, so call emergency services before you try and deal with anything further yourself. When you call, give as many details as possible on where you are and what has happened. This will help the crew to prepare en route and reach the place quickly. Step 4. Administer first aid. Only after the victim is away from the source of current, you can approach them and begin first aid. Injuries from electric shocks can range from serious burns to cardiac arrest and even death. You need to know how to deal with different scenarios. Now let us have a look at rescue operations. You are watching here two workers at different electrical panels feeder doing some job. One worker doing work by wearing proper safety gadgets like insulated gloves, and other worker doing work without wearing insulated gloves. The worker who is doing job without wearing insulated gloves get electric shock. Other workers seen and first he run for rescue without touching co-worker. Second, he switch off the power supply and laying him in comfortable position. Third, he is calling emergency service for immediate support. Fourth, he is trying to give first aid to him. Let's learn about first aid. First aid is the immediate care given to victims of accidents before trained medical workers arrive. Its goal is to stop and, if possible, reverse harm. It involves rapid and simple measures such as clearing the air passageway, applying pressure to bleeding wounds, or dousing chemical burns to eyes or skin. Basic first aid. First aid is of prime importance in the event of an accident. Hence, everybody should know the basic methods of first aid, which are followings. Remain calm. Check your surroundings to ensure there is no immediate danger to the victim and yourself. When in any kind of doubt about the extent of injuries or it is felt that the affected person has extensive injuries to head, neck, chest or spine, do not move the affected person. Moving the person may aggravate the pain or worse, still lead to further complications, including respiration, blockage of blood to major organs, internal hemorrhage, blood clots, etc. Call the ambulance, paramedics or doctor only after this administer first aid. Try to administer first aid at the spot without moving the affected person. If you are not able to administer first aid at the location of the incident, bring the affected person to a peaceful and airy place. Care should be taken to ensure that there is enough space to breathe easily. Prevent overcrowding around the victim. All the parts of body of affected person are to be kept in straight position and should be laid down on an even spot. In case of head injury, lay down the affected person in such a way that his head rests in upward position. If he is having trouble in proper respiration, then he should be kept in sitting position. If he is in the epileptic condition, then lay him down ensuring that his head is below the level of his body. If he is having wound, then take water in one small bucket and add 4 drops of iodine in it to make it antibacterial and wash the wounds neatly and carefully dry it. Then apply the iodine on wounds and wraps it by medicated antibacterial cotton.